Thanks for listening. Remember to visit us at easygameradio.com, follow us on Instagram, easygameradio, and subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.
Good morning, everyone. It is January 28th. Welcome to your update from Easy Game Radio. We'll be covering the TGL that happened last night and what I consider a successful event. Finally had some entertainment, kept me engaged the entire time. We're going to talk a little bit about the Farmers Insurance Open that wrapped up this last weekend down at Torrey Pines, as well as the upcoming event at Pebble Beach this weekend. The season is finally starting to gain some momentum. We're starting to see some bigger fields, some bigger names enter these tournaments, or at least say they're entering it. And then also give you a quick update about Netflix Full Swing Season 3 kicking off at the end of the month. So TGL Week 4 happened last night. Monday night round kind of threw me for a loop. I was expecting Tuesday as always, realized when I looked at my phone, oh wow, it's tonight. Kind of makes sense though. No Monday Night Football. So we're getting into that sports dead zone, that TGL. I think they're trying to take advantage of that window that we get when we're right getting into March Madness season for NCAA. If you're an NBA fan, you're fully engaged, but football is winding down and we know where Americans are watching TV. Finally had a competitive match. Boston Common played against Jupiter Lynx. This was Jupiter's second event of the season. Tiger Woods, of course, showed up, bringing Kevin Kisner with him after his forgettable debut a few weeks back, where he sculled that bunker shot out and hit the pin. Probably at least the first memorable one, maybe not so forgettable. Forgettable for Kevin. Max Homa sat this one out for Jupiter, and he was replaced with Tom Kim, who was expectedly entertaining, as we saw last year in the President's Cup. Tom Kim, 21 years old. He's a lot of fun to watch. He just brings that attitude that's really, really great for match play. So he fit the format really well. This was the first event for Boston Common, team led by TGL co-founder Rory McIlroy. He was joined with New England's own Keegan Bradley. Of course, with that Boston theme, you knew that they were going to play Dropkick Murphys. And then finally, we had the Aussie Silver Fox Masters champion, Adam Scott. He was draining long putts. And we finally had the competition that we wanted out of the TGL. There was no landslide. There was no boat race. There was no shutout. And we had the season and the league's first overtime. Another notable first was the first shot clock violation, violated none other than the founder himself, Tiger Woods, results in that drop point once that shot clock violation happened when he needed to make that putt. Jupiter ended up getting its first win of the season, taking down Boston 4-3. The round was finally entertaining. I didn't find myself getting bored at the end of triples, and once it went into singles, the score was tight the entire time. I thought the teams were still aggressive with the hammer. There were more hammers thrown last night than any other night of the TGL, but they seem to be more tactical about it. Still some noticeable flaws that I think are going to impact the TGL's ability to be really what it wants to be. There were multiple shots, again from Tiger, missing a green long, where it just looked like the simulator data wasn't quite accurate. I think TGL, they've got to figure this out, or else it's going to be a problem, especially with the amount of attention that they're trying to bring, as well as keeping people engaged in it. If it doesn't seem accurate, the players are noticeably frustrated by it, and it's going to take away from that credibility that they're going to have to provide. So a little bit into the nerd side of how the TGL captures the ball flight data. It is powered by Full Swing, which Tiger Woods has a financial interest in. They use 18 unique monitors that you'll see behind the players, and this is actually using radar data to capture that ball flight. On top of that, they are using 8 top tracer optical cameras. So it's a mix of data, both from radar picking up the ball and then the actual cameras watching the ball fly through the air. There's no reason for these kinds of mistakes to happen. Anybody that's been to any launch monitor service, or if you've gone through a fitting, you've used a TrackMan, you know when you hit a bad shot, and the product on the screen, the flight that happens on the screen, it mimics what you're used to. The fact that these launch monitors have gotten into consumer hands, the average Joe has access to it to a point where it is dependable. you have to expect a league and a product like TGL to be more accurate. Interesting to me, it seemed like the players were almost coached or told not to vocalize their frustration with the shots. I thought I saw Keegan and Tiger both kind of look at that screen and want to say something that they disagreed with the flight that they saw, that they knew they hit a different shot, and it almost seemed like they were cutting themselves off, but their facial expressions said it all to me. The players were not happy with that flight data that was being produced and those shot outcomes as a result of that flight data. So TGL's got to figure that out. But, all that being said, I went into the league and the first week of it with high hopes, and maybe they were just too high of hopes for what the TGL is intended to bring as well. I think if TGL can fix its launch monitor data, keep the rounds competitive, we'll continue to see success. One thing that was also fun about last night's round was we had the first overtime. The format's interesting. I don't know if I really like it, though. They moved to a closest to the pin, no launch monitor data, and they're going, I don't know, it might have been 50 yards onto that green. The format was basically 3 shots, 1 for each player, and each team had to win 2 rounds of those closest. So 3 opportunities for each team. Whoever was closest in each one got those 2 holes and would go on to win. Jupiter won it last night by being closest on the first 2 opportunities. I would change this format. I would go to an overall closest to the pin. So in this case, if all 3 players get a shot at the flag and they both hit it 10 feet out, that team's total is 30 feet. I would like to see this because it gives that last shot an opportunity to just stick one close. So if we know there's only 5 feet of distance separating the teams, and on the third and final shot, you're going to know that sticking one close is going to make the difference. Another thing that I would like about going to that format is we're going to see a final shot from every player on the team. What we saw last night was the third shot never needed to happen because after the second one, Jupiter Lynx had posted that tiebreaker. So either way, much better product out of the TGL. High hopes for the following weeks. We're going to see the schedule bounce around again. It's not going to be on Tuesday nights every night, so pay attention to that. This past weekend, we saw the PGA Tour continue its West Coast campaign out at Torrey Pines. Harris English took home the win, putting $1.6 million into his pocket. Sam Stevens was second at 7 under, and Andy Novak finishing in third for -6. Ludwig, my personal favorite going into the round, he posted a 9 under for the overall tournament low, but he was battling some kind of flu. I saw something online where it said he actually threw up in a bush somewhere throughout one of his rounds, so he wasn't feeling it. Personally, supposedly there's a flu going around Torrey Pines, and it impacted a lot of the field. During the second round, the event saw high winds, actually resulted in an hour-and-a-half long suspension of play. You had guys on the greens where their ball had been marked and they wouldn't get a chance to putt because the ball would start moving as the wind picked up. With that hour-and-a-half long suspension due to the high winds on Thursday, they had to call the second round and pick it back up Friday morning before the third rounds were set to begin. I think this caused a lot of players to kind of rethink what they were doing. The tournament seemed to be more about who wasn't in the field. A lot of folks withdrew before the round even began. 16 players dropping out that were originally scheduled to play at Torrey. Some of those names included Colin Morikawa, Will Zalatoris, Akshay Bhatia, and just a slew of others. Then on top of that, 5 players withdrew mid-tournament, including Max Homa, who after that suspension of play, he decided just to call it quits and ended his tournament way early. So disappointing in terms of the overall field. Also on the final round, it took 5.5 hours, which even the broadcast team called out. It's just unacceptable at this point. They ran almost over their broadcast time, I think close to being over it. But the PGA continues to struggle with pace of play. That is extremely frustrating. And you might have 2 different opinions on this. You think, hey, these guys are playing for millions of dollars. Let them take all the time that they want. And then others is, my opinion is, hey, that group in front of you is ruining your round. So the same reason can exist and justify for why it needs to be sped up. I'm on the side, it needs to be faster. There's no reason to need 5.5 hours to finish a round of golf. If you did that on a regular course, I would not finish the round either. So a lot of things that the PGA needs to think about as they continue to try to improve golf from a spectator's point of view, try to keep the fans engaged, try to keep the players happy. We cannot have 5.5-hour rounds. This next weekend, the tour continues up north to Pebble Beach for the AT&T Pro-Am. We finally have a full field of players for the moment expected to play. 27 of the world's top 30 golfers, according to the overall world golf rankings, are going to be in the field. Names such as Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Collin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, Tommy Fleetwood, Tony Finau, Justin Thomas, a slew more. We finally have the first full field at a PGA event for the 2025 season at Pebble Beach. Coverage is starting Thursday. We are now 72 days from the first major of the year. Of course, the Masters tournament in Augusta, Georgia. I know I'm excited for spring to come around. I'm excited to see full fields of the best players in the world go out and compete. And 72 days, it's coming quick. Full Swing Season 3 starts February 25th on Netflix. Just go ahead, Netflix, take my $25 a month again. Majority of the big names from the golf world are going to be covered. Scotty's on it, Rory's on it. Looks to be, of course, looking back at the 2024 season, there was LIV drama, there was President's Cup drama. But one thing that I'm looking forward to that Netflix is reporting is they are going to provide coverage about Bryson DeChambeau and kind of his character arc that we saw him experience and that we're getting to enjoy now. Years ago, when Brooks Koepka and Bryson were kind of having their feud, I was a team Brooks guy. I thought Bryson was obnoxious. I have enjoyed Bryson's renaissance. I loved watching him win at the Open last year. I thought it was phenomenal. I enjoy his YouTube channel. He's bringing that fun side of golf. I think right now he's one of the best use cases for the problem that LIV and PGA need to figure out to get these names back together on a golf course regularly. He is just too much fun to watch and obviously insanely talented as a professional golfer. That kind of attitude is what we need. He was recently in some of the golf news talking about how he invested $1 million just into YouTube golf and trying to grow the game. And he's doing it in a fun way. So I'm excited to see Netflix cover Bryson. I hope that they do him justice. I hope it's not just a 5-minute session during one random episode. I would like to see at least a full episode of Full Swing dedicated to him and maybe show us behind the scenes of how he does things and what made him, decide to kind of blaze his own trail. So really excited for that. Full Swing Season 3 starts February 28th. Again, so we'll end your update for January 28th right there. I hope you guys are having a great week wherever you are. Golf season is just getting underway. Cold weather is ending here in Tennessee. I'm excited to get out and play more golf. I'm excited to see more high quality golf on TV. I can't wait to pick out some of these events to go and travel to and go watch in person. There's so much good going on in this sport, and I just can't wait to see more of it in 2025. Hope you guys all have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening. Remember to visit us at easygameradio.com. Follow us on Instagram, Easy Game Radio, and subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.